It was the I think it was the two. Let me see. I think it was 260, 255 on Microsoft that I liked on the 4 hour. But those are my two. Those are my two favorite. Yeah, it was 255 retest of Microsoft. So I do like that potentially to hit 270. And the other play that I really, really, really like, this may be like a swing, like a good swing. And I talked about this on the spot yesterday, is Amazon. Amazon pulled all the way back to its breakout level from last week before Powell, and it held it yesterday. So something I'm really, really looking for, maybe back to a 105, 108 level.
Yeah. I'm in Amazon calls right now. I got them Monday, I think. But looking at the 2 hour, we do see the 2 hour, as far as the candlesticks are concerned, we see that 2 hour went inside and then bullish engulfed these two candles, which you see on the 4 hour,
Mhm.
right? Where bullish engulfed. So let me see what the daily was. The daily bullish engulfing too? Nah. So we got
No,
a
it really was a pin bar.
yeah, oh yeah, right, yeah. Pin bar on the daily.
So it's
Uh,
looking like it may. So what I'll be looking for today on Amazon is if it maybe can potentially build a morning star pattern where I can see it engulfing. I would like to see a close above yesterday's high on Amazon
yeah.
for confirmation. That's what I want to see today. The goal for Amazon is to hold yesterday's highs. Really close
Yeah.
above it.
I,
That's
I would take I wouldn't even mind trading a break above yesterday's high to the previous day's high.
right.
Yeah. So if we break above 102.41 or 102.42, I wouldn't mind taking that off the pin bar high break to come up and test that 103.90 area. Right, because then that will be giving you your morning start you're anticipating too. And if we get that, then we just let the runners run. You know what I'm saying? We could trim right there, let the
Yeah.
runners run. You got the gap above, depending on if you go next week or 2 weeks. 2 weeks, you definitely got time to let the gap go for the gap fill, or at least retest 108.70.
Yep.
So
Yeah, Amazon looks pretty clean to me. I also did like there was a lot of news about energy and stuff coming out with like FSLR, phase, so I was looking at XLE. I like the XLE hold for energy.
the Enphase just have earnings. Yeah.
Phase was it phase this morning or FSLR? One of those had earnings this morning because one of
Okay.
them had a big gap up.
Enphase had earnings overnight. I mean, after hours yesterday.
Okay, yeah, it was phase. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me throw them on look like they was bull flagging into earnings. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah, I like how it looks on the daily a lot more.
And the last one that I really, really like, Jordan, that just because, and this is a swing one, and this is just because I just love it. I love the retest on a 4 hour of 50 on shop. Shop broke out of that crazy 50 level. It gapped up. It filled the gap to the downside and held it. 50 is a like 50 on Shopify looks extremely well. So if I see any sort of pullback today to even 51, 50, that's another swing I'm considering tanker. I might take a monthly out on some 55 calls. Because shop looks really good.
Look at the weekly on shop. Yeah, shop been going up nonstop. Looking at the weekly,
Yeah.
it's been a pretty strong move. Um,
I just like that 4 hour looks really good daily. I just like how it held 50. So I want to see how 51 is probably my next level. I just want to see how it reacts to it.
yeah. It looks like at least for this week, unless something happens, you know what I'm saying, a day or tomorrow or Friday. Damn, I don't even know what day of the week it is. If it goes inside, what I would really be looking for if it goes inside on the weekly, what I would be looking at is it taking out that new low Cause you see it got that resistance here at
Mhm.
44. And it's also just ran up nonstop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 green weeks. I would start looking as well for that move back down to retest the level
Okay.
after the strong move up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's when I
Yeah,
start like,
54. Yeah, 54 would be my target as long as 50 hold. That would be like my short-term target, you know.
mm,
And after that, just kind of wait.
you see RSI is overbought on the daily. That's what I was talking about. Like it just moved up real heavy. So I mean, it's still possible. Obviously, the RSI don't dictate whether something has to go up or down. And that pullback, I mean, it did pull back some. Yeah,
What do you like? What do you like besides
I ain't looked at nothing yet.
nothing?
Nah, um, that's what I was just doing right now, just flipping through. That's all I be doing, bro. Flip.
Everything looks like it's at like right back at this level that it's like it held like earlier in the week. You
I
know, like
like this. You was talking about energy. Next extra right here. Um, you see in my top right corner with that 2 hour. You see we starting to kind of get that curve. Um, that kind of curve that can bring us back to test here.
Mhm.
Right. But we know we're seeing we're at this resistance right now. So that could be a good breakout. Or we just reject back down. Right. But I'm willing to take that either way. There's like a $2 move back down. If it does reject that resistance and come back down to this demand,
Mhm.
about a $2 move. And then if it breaks out, breakout, push up, or breakout, pull back, or retest, continue, whichever one we get. Um, but that's a move up to 80. That's a strong move. So I'm gonna look at that. What's that high? Yeah, bro. I'm just now looking at stuff.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I don't really be looking at stuff until like I look at stuff a little bit in the morning, but I really don't look at stuff till like 9, to be honest with you. It take me about 10 minutes for real doing this after a while. Cause I got this tickers that I kind of like.
Hmm. Yeah, that's how I get to, bro. Like once it be real volatile in the market, or like earnings weeks and stuff like that, I don't even look at stuff post market or pre market because when we get to gapping crazy over and over again, I don't feel like spending 20 minutes looking at charts and setups just for them to gap up, gap down.
Mhm.
All the levels then got crossed already. So I'll wait till, it's 10:30. So like 30 minutes or an hour after the market's open. And then I'll just make moves intraday off the intraday levels that's already been established once we get market open. You could throw pre-market levels in. And so now I have levels that are fresh from that day, you know, and not have to worry about a gap up, gap down, completely invalidating my overnight analysis.
Yeah.
Mm, Zoom. Zoom got opportunity too. Yeah. Wonder where the other bull flag. This is the second bull flag we didn't see. Strong breakout. I mean, Zoom could go for continuation, honestly. On a daily, it can go for 3 previous days of price action. Its next resistance level is about 89. You could take Zoom for a continuation.
Yeah, I saw that Zoom news that came out about them. Yeah, I saw Zoom broke out hard yesterday. I do like Zoom. That was another one I was looking at.
Yeah.
They laid off their employees, and then it's just like a bullish move for like all these stocks this year. They laying off employees to cut costs, and then doing these buybacks.
Yeah. I seen somebody, I think that was Kim. It was maybe 2 or 3 people in the chat talking about that. how, that's improving their books.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess from the financial standpoint, if you can reduce your costs, right? If you reduce your costs, but you can still maintain the revenue, then you just became a more profitable company, which, investors want. So that makes sense to me. Let's see. I think Baidu had a crazy move. PayPal. So PayPal came back.
Baidu had Baidu was up like 20% one day over like the chat GPT news. I think it was up, I think the other day like $20, I swear.
Yeah, I saw it. I didn't know that was off that news about that though.
Yeah. That was because that was the only Chinese stock that jumped up, Kim. Because I mean, compared to like, I checked Baba and JD, they didn't really do nothing like Baidu did.
I'm gonna look at it. Whenever there's that big move, there's likely to be other big moves until it, runs out of volatility. But PayPal looks straight for a setup. Granted, they got earnings tomorrow, so I don't know if they would move into this gap fill and break out above this about 83, 84 level. All right. How much would you get on the pull back to that low? That might not even be worth my time. Boom, boom. And it's already down free market. I mean, so PayPal, I wouldn't be surprised if it used earnings to gap up and close that. I have to look at how much PayPal normally moves off earnings and all that stuff, but we can see the higher lows coming in and bouncing up and making that triangle. And you just look for a breakout. But that might not come to earnings. Earnings aside, I would like a PayPal right here. AMD. This support is gonna look nice on the lower time frame. Bingo. All right, so AMD bounced off of this support that it held pretty much all Monday. It was kind of holding 80, what's this, 80, 83-ish. Yeah. About 83, held, bounced up, took out the highs here. So it closed, AMD closed pretty much at a higher day. So pretty strong bullish close. Right now it's down 22 cents, but it ain't even 9 o'clock yet. So that could be a continuation move off the bounce back to the 88 range that we can get today. And they don't have earnings, so I ain't really worry about that. That was the high. 86.25. I'm gonna just let it take out 86.30 and then put eyes on it. Yeah. See if we either reject right here where we had these candles sitting. I wouldn't be surprised if some of those flip into giving us that supply rejection, but we did break above those intraday highs, so I like that. And like for it to just go ahead and go back up towards 89. Shambi, you know why Google gap down? Oh, what's up, man? Hold on. Are we camera on?
You said, well, Google got what?
Gap down. What up, Quentin?
I don't know.
Yo, what's going on? What's going on?
What's up, bro?
I don't know, but I see a lot of bull flags on the hourly time frames. retest on
Yeah.
4 hours on a lot of these tickers. Everything looks bullish. We just gotta see. It's just you know what I'm saying. Is and what's making me kind of even more kind of like saying, okay, tech is still gonna hold. Is I'm looking at SPY. SPY still holding. SPY pulled back and it's still holding. Well, I'm talking about ES. ES, I mean, we pulled back, right? But we still holding this level at 4150. So SPY's holding. We're gonna see. Is there any news today, Jordan, or is it just straight up just oh no, I'm thinking some economic speakers, but I don't know if that's gonna really be like Powell. Powell said something yesterday, Jordan, and the market just sent.
I don't think so. What's it, Wednesday? Today, Wednesday. Nah, nothing that should really do nothing. Nah, nothing that should really do nothing. The Fed got a couple of people that's speaking, like the vice chair, the Fed governor, and another Fed governor. Now they ain't nobody.
Right.
I mean, you know, to the market anyway. They're people to their families, I guess. But yeah, I don't know what's going on with Google. So with Google, matter of fact, I could trade Google off its pre-market levels since it looks like it's gapping. It's down 3%. So something got to be going on for Google to be down 3% pre-market. What was this?
Some news kind of like, but that thing can easily get bought up.
Oh yeah. Well, it looks like right now it's still in the range from yesterday anyway. So you can still use levels from from Thursday to yesterday. It's still in that whole little range. Or even just use yesterday's levels and trade that. If you get a pullback to support from yesterday, then we go ahead and take that bounce. Yeah, we'll have to look at Google once it gets closer to 9:30, see what's going on. Baba gapped up yesterday. Oh no, this is pre-market today. So Baba gapped up and then it's just been moving down pre-market. It's testing yesterday's high right now. So that's what I mean for Google, like the same concept, right? We see this was a resistance here, it came resistance again here, right? And now it can act as a potential support for Alibaba's yesterday's high day. And so if Alibaba was to stay here, right, during pre-market, maybe it pulls back up. Let me make this bigger. All right, so maybe it'll pull back up a little bit. Right. But ultimately, if it just kind of chops out right here, then I mean, I wouldn't mind looking at that for the move back up too.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me look at the.
I mean, the momentum in the market has been chips and tech. So I mean, I know there's other things, but obviously, you know, I would tell people on here, you know, tech is pretty strong. So, you know, if there's an opportunity to buy something that's at a gap level, that gap down or something, and it's holding, I would definitely recommend looking at going long on it. If depending on market structure.
Mm-hmm.
Because they've been buying all this stuff up. You know which one I missed yesterday, Jordan? When the I had an alert set. It was funny. I had an alert set for AMD, right? At 82.16 on the dot, right? Man, after Powell came on, that thing gapped up $3. And those contracts I was gonna get went 100%. So I got to know better, just kind of maybe set it a little bit higher.
Yeah, I mean, you know, and it's one of them things you got to look at. Was there something you could have done differently to get that desired outcome? Because if it was a a speaker coming on that caused the big shift. I mean, it really ain't too much maybe you could have did about that. Unless you was just sitting there watching.
I was waiting for that level anyway to get retested. I was waiting for that 82 level to get tested anyway from the breakout that it had last week, and it did hold it. But noticing a lot of these tickers, Jordan, they pulled back. So it made me be bullish on a lot of these tickers is these stocks are pulling back to like key levels from last week and breakout levels, and they're holding. And there's more volume coming in when people are buying them up. So that's making me kind of bullish, at least to like the first next price target for a lot of these tickers that I've been seeing.
What and you mainly been looking at tech?
Looking at tech and energy. So I've been looking at like XLE, Enphase. I've been keeping those like on my eye, but that's basically been it. It's basically just been tech, and I've been kind of watching the small caps, like the IWM, just to see how it's been reacting in the market, because I know that's really been probably the most bullish, because that picked up before tech did. And I've been watching banks too. I've been watching like Bank of America. I like Bank of America's daily.
Yeah. Look at that.
Now, there's a lot of like tickers that are like in flags and stuff, and it's just like, on a bigger time frame. So it's just kind of making you wonder,
Yeah. I'm looking at Clorox right now.
Yeah, Clorox looks good.
I mean, it's either gonna break down back to 148 or it's gonna kick out. Move back to 152. I'm ready for whatever. Breakout, kick up to the resistance. Now, I might just bust through it, but if we can get a pull back to these levels here, that'll be my desired entry. And then get that kick up to these next levels. Or we just go ahead and take out here.
The trend line for people that are looking for trades for SPY, just look, there's a trend lines forming up. If we could break this previous channel right here on SPY right now in the pre-market, that's a trigger for calls. Quinn's trend line break.
It's based off the pre-market price action.
Based off of pre-market price action, but I'm just drawing this line for myself. If I see this line break for pre-market, then I'm gonna use it. Luther uses pre-market for his 4-hour strategy. He uses the close of the body in the wick on the 4-hour, the 5 to 9 candle, which is about to close. So he does use pre-market, and I do like using his strategy because it does work really well. I've been testing it out. I've been like doing some back tests on the 4-hour strategy. Luther taught some of us.
Mm-hmm. He said it. Damn, Bank of America.
Yeah, Bank of America. Yeah, I like that.
Fine. Yeah. When I see all that green, I just waiting on the pullback, pull back, but I know it can keep going. Erica asked about a 4-hour on Bank of America. So it's playing out from the 4-hour break, bull flag break right now. So you have your most like visible bull flag here, right? So there's your 4-hour flag. And then it broke out, and then here was a candle that came back and retested that level, right? And then it continued off. So it's no surprise it's running like that. pushed up, pulled back, kick back out, $2.38. Is that what they said? $2.88. Yeah, so it will still have more room to go anyway. Don't tell me it come out right to that resistance. Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, my top watch, man, for real. Based on what I'm looking at, the cleanest charts I like, Amazon for sure. And probably BAC. I think for risk to reward, Amazon probably looks the best on a bigger time frame. A lot of these stocks, man, just been running up for weeks and weeks.
Yeah, this is what I'm looking at for Amazon. I'm targeting it to come up here.
Let's say 106 or 104.
What?
Well, I'm talking about your short term before. Okay, I'm looking at that 108 level. Okay, where that gap is at.
Oh, yeah. 108. So that's one of my levels I'm gonna trim at. Is gonna be the test of this high. Take it to the daily. Right. So testing this high a day here is gonna be my first trim level. And then if we can go ahead and fill the gap. Because this high is 108.78. This gap is 112 or 113 pretty much. So that's another $5 move. And then after that, it's just gonna be, you know, them little the last one contract that you just like, hey, you just
Let it run, just forget it.
you just, you know, do whatever. I want to see pretty numbers. I want to see 500%. So you just do it. But yeah, that's why I got in, or when I got in. I think I got in on, like I said, like Monday. Yeah. Apple bullish engulfing on daily. So Apple can look for a move back to test the high of 157. What's up? Good morning, Lauren Bush. CVS and Uber. Oh, earnings. Oh, okay. Appreciate it. Yeah. So CVS and Uber had earnings. Which as always, when you have a decent move on earnings for a company, it gives you the room to trade that volatility that comes intraday. So one of the ways would just be looking at the levels it makes pre-market. We still ain't, you know, too deep off into full pre-market, but you can start trading within that range. And I like to do the same thing I said earlier, is I like to have earnings that gap up or gap down, or just any big gap. I like to kind of give them 5, 6, 7, 8, 20, 30 minutes. But just looking at the levels, just looking at how they set up, you know, it'll form its own spot where you can see where the selling pressure is. You can see where the buying pressure is. And then you can trade, you know, opening range breakouts, whether it's a 5-minute, 10-minute, 15, 20, 30, whatever, you know. You could look for pullbacks too. You know, you look for pullbacks after big gap ups, but it doesn't take out the lower levels. So like if, say, CVS stayed right here, like if this was just CVS's pre-market, right? But if CVS stayed up here and then market open, it pulled back and tested this low as support, and then it bounced back off, then we can go long off that support hold, right? And then look for it to continue that move up. Uber. Let's see. Thoughts on USO, United Oil. Let's check it out. Yeah. So like this, right? Like Uber, we see the gap up, we see the support, right? And we see we're starting to make a triangle for now anyway, right? For the time being. And that's something we can look at trading. Right. We can look at trading the breakout pullback, right? The retest continuation. We can look at trading the breakdown if it did break down. Right. And because it has earnings, it's up 7%, right? Because it just had earnings and there's a lot of people interacting with it, a lot of money interacting with it, then we can expect bigger moves and more volatility to still be something that can come with the move. Because all the move, a lot of times, earnings, the move isn't going to just be that pre-market, post-market. Most of the time, that'll be the majority of the move, most of the time. But it's not odd to see stuff like with Meta, when they had their earnings and they just kept going, right? Just kept going. So you can still take advantage of that. Thank you, Lauren, for that. And thanks to Shambi too for what you was looking at. Let's look at USO. 100. Upside, you're looking at 68 calls. All right. 1 hour. Let's open up some other time frames. So I like Alexis. I really hope that you got in Monday when you saw, if you were looking at it already, right? When you saw it either pulled back to this demand, right? So when you saw that happen, or if you wanted to be more cautious, you saw it come back to demand and maybe you had an alert there and then it shot back up and gave you this hammer, right? Then you said, okay, cool, we got a hammer off the support. I go ahead and take calls on that and took advantage of that next day move up. Other than that though, bro, right now, pre-market, we're above the high from Friday. So of course, with the gap up, you have to anticipate the potential move for a gap fill back down. We open it up. That's the 1. Take it to a 4. Go ahead and mark that off. Take it to. How long would you be looking at holding it, bro?
I was looking for maybe a week, but I think I missed that buzz, bro. I think I missed that buzz, man.
Guys,
I was just waiting for SPI's price action because usually when SPI goes up, USO behaves. But I was looking for at least a week, maybe 2 weeks.
Okay. Yeah, it looked like it can come back to 72. So right now, looking at our weekly, again, you can still see the bounce off the support, where it was supported back in January, right, and where it bounced off again. And we see like these previous times it's come down to that level. This one did break and close below before going inside and moving back up. But we see that our previous times we've come down to this 63 level, we've moved back up, right? So I mean,
Is that a piercing green candle there?
Yeah. Do we trade currency pairs? Some of us do, not all of us. Trade cryptocurrency. pairs. Yeah, I would just look at it simply from that perspective of, this is just how we've been moving.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. So, yeah, just off of that simply, I mean, now we still, as far as, that's why I asked how long you were looking at it, because we're still not really making new highs. So we're holding though. We're kind of holding and stabilizing. But we went from, which is it's all right, right? We went from, making these lower highs. Let's take it to a 3-day. Right. So we went from making these lower highs, right? Coming up and rejecting down. So now we're kind of flatlining and holding support, but we're still not getting higher. So I wouldn't say that I would want to expect a move really that much further above that 72 area. 72 is where we've come back to at least every time so far. Even right here where it came down, it was, like 90 cents off of that 63 area. It came back to 70, 72. But we see our highs are pretty much still getting lower. So it can go back to 72 though. Johnson and Johnson. So here's another good setup. All right, we see Johnson and Johnson at this major demand. And so that's one that just off the simple supply and demand, right? Just looking at your support and resistance or taking your lows and everything into account. Then when you're looking at setting it up, like it immediately demonstrates great risk to reward potential. Even if you come back to right here and you put your stop loss there, right? So there is this wick that came down here to 159.17. And so it's not out the question for it to come back down here again. But for the most part, we see that we not really getting movement past 160.75, right? So to have a stop at about 160, 60 or 160.75, where am I? Oh, here you go. So even like 160.65, and targeting this previous level that we had our rejections at, or even, the midway point of that kind of level, right? That gives you opportunity too, where you have, again, just good risk to reward. You take trades like this, even if you win 1 out of 3 of them, you're still gonna be profitable, 33% win rate, assuming you're not buying a contract that expires tomorrow, that's 30 strikes out the money, right? Y'all got any questions? Any questions? I'll answer questions, or we could talk a little bit. I'm gonna go walk a mile or two before I eat and get back on the charts. All right. Well, that's it though. I'm gonna stop the recording. I'm gonna say peace out.